We're going live. We're going live.
Okay.
Thank you, Ricky. Hi. I'll be on here. Okay. Hi, everybody. This is Blaine. Welcome to Flame Time. I'm here with
Jason.
and we're bringing you another fun, wacky, crazy, and hopefully educational episode of Flame Time on today, which is Thursday, April something, 15, 2000. 21, 22. Oh my God, you don't even know.
Shows you how much I'm losing track.
Yeah, unfortunately, our usual co-hosts and producers, Stacy and Ricky, were not able to join us today. They have a lot of work to do with ACQC today. So Jason was nice enough to come and join us. If you don't recognize Jason, Jason appeared in our last episode of Flame Time last week as one of our core group members who came in to help advertise or promote the picnic. If you don't know what core group is, you want to tell people what core group is?
Core group is a bunch LGBT meetings that happens usually every Monday at 6:30.
Where?
On Zoom.
Zoom.
You have to register and make sure you get a link for it, and then you can go on it. And we talk about different topics like safe sex, obviously like the topic we're gonna have today, and other various stuff. So it's very good to kind of come meet people. Usually, most of them, I would say, within New York, but we have others that are actually outside.
And every week is a new topic. We talk about things that are just like Flame Time, fun, but educational, and hopefully things that help the LGBT community. The idea is to educate and empower, which is why the program is called Empowerment. If you don't already, please follow Empowerment or MP Queens 19, or just MP Queens. There's two pages, MP Queens 19 and MP Queens on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And that way you can stay on top of all the various events we do, like the Thursdays Flame Time that we're doing now, the Mondays core group meetups on Zoom, and you can help us coordinate other fun events like what we're coordinating next Friday, April 23rd, which is
over at the Gantry Plaza. It's a picnic.
It's a picnic.
Right.
We don't want to give all the info because it is by invitation. Everyone invited can bring a +1. But if this is something that interests you, again, please like MP Queens or MP Queens 19, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Let us know that you want to get involved in these core groups every Monday night on Zoom. Everybody is welcome. And then once you're a core group member, then you can help us program and participate in other events that we're going to be doing. Before COVID happened, ACQC was doing these weekly meetup events. And it was really fun. We would meet here in the office at 607 Woodside Avenue. Sometimes we would go bowling. Sometimes we would have a movie night. Sometimes we would have a picnic. We've had self-defense courses. We've had aerobics, Zumba, everything for free, everything provided by ACQC. They provide food, drinks, non-alcoholic beverages. And yeah, again, the idea is just to bring together the community, LGBT community, and give us something fun and proactive to do, and enable us to become also group leaders in our community, so that we can then turn and help empower others who might need, that might be in a place where we were a long time ago where we needed the help. Now we can turn around and help others. It's a wonderful cycle. It's very beautiful, and it's a really wonderful program that ACQC is doing. So thank you, ACQC, for continuing to do this. Aside from Flame Time, I also want to promote Eduardo, who joined us recently at ACQC. They have an Instagram page called Hard to Swallow. And if you missed that last week on Instagram, please follow _Hard to Swallow. I was their first guest to be interviewed on their Instagram show, which is every Friday at 12 p.m., 12 to 12:30 on the Instagram page, Hard to Swallow. There is also a Facebook page, Hard to Swallow, if you want to follow that as well. And I know this Friday they're going to be having another discussion. What they do is they promote safety with drug and alcohol abuse. They are a drug and alcohol abuse counselor. And basically the program revolves around that, talking about different addictions, not necessarily just drug and alcohol. It could be gambling addiction. It could be sex addiction. It could be, oh my God, social media addiction.
That happens a lot.
Which happens a lot.
Yeah.
That was a topic that we discussed last Friday, along with my own personal addictions. I talked about my own experiences with drug and alcohol abuse in the past, and how for the most part, I was able to overcome that. And I hope that me speaking candidly about my experiences helps somebody else that might be going through the same
Yeah.
struggle, because the struggle is real. So yeah, please follow Hard to Swallow on Facebook and Instagram if you want to get involved with that. If you have any questions, we always encourage that people ask questions and get involved, because that's what we're there for, right?
Exactly. We're here to help everybody that needs the need, and spread some positive feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. So today's topic of Flame Time, now that we're done promoting all these wonderful things that ACQC is doing, today's topic of Flame Time is going to be depression.
Yes.
Why is it going to be depression? Glad you asked.
Yes.
The topic came up yesterday. I woke up yesterday morning. The day was beautiful, sunny day, really nice. Not like today at all. We got a dreary, rainy, cloudy day. But yeah, I woke up yesterday. It was a beautiful day, and I posted on my Facebook, "Hey everybody, who wants to go on a bike ride with me?" One of my friends' response was, "How the hell are you so damn chipper in the morning? I have trouble even just getting up and going to grab a glass of water in the kitchen. Like, how the hell are you planning,
Exactly.
your
Do all
day?"
the things you want to do.
And my answer to that was, because I do take things very literal sometimes, and I thought that even though I know he was being hypothetical, I really wanted to respond to that. And my answer to that was, I used to suffer from very crippling anxiety and depression. I used to have suicidal thoughts. I at one point tried to commit suicide, and I was very self-destructive at my worst phase with my depression. This was all throughout my childhood, my adolescence, my teen years, and it got so bad that I knew I had to do something about it. I tried medication, antidepressant medication. It didn't work for me. And you know what actually did work? Oh, I tried self-medicating drugs and alcohol, which is where my drug and alcohol problem came from, that I talked about earlier. Obviously, that didn't work for me. Everything was only a temporary gain. I felt good at the moment, but then the next day, the next few days, I felt horrible. What really actually helped me with my depression was reading self-help books. So, I hit rock bottom, I would say maybe around 19, 20. I wasn't even old enough to drink yet, but I was already drinking, doing lots of drugs. I was going through a really horrible breakup. And I really hit rock bottom. So I started reading all these self-help books. And one of my favorite ones was called 100 Secrets of Happy People. And basically, it's real life stories. Each page is two stories of an instance or a situation that happens to people, except from two different points of view. And I think I've talked to you about this before.
Probably have.
So basically, it's been so long since I've read the book, but I strongly recommend to read. Basically, on one page, you open the book, on one side of the page, it'll say, I'll use your name for example.
Okay, sure.
It'll say, Jason went to go to the store and it was raining and he stepped on dog poop and his whole day was ruined. And then on the next page, it'll say, well, Flame went to the store and it was raining, but he got an umbrella and they got dog poop on their shoe, but they cleaned it off in the puddle of rain and then went about their day like nothing happened and had a wonderful day. So basically, same situation, two perspectives. And it's such a simple technique, but reading through 100 stories or 100 secrets of happy people, very short stories, it really drilled in my head that no matter what happens to you, you can either look at the bright side of things, cup half full, or you can obsess over the negative aspects and let it completely ruin your day. And at worst, let it completely destroy you. So I made an active effort to start looking at the cup half full. I started waking up every morning being thankful that I'm alive another day, especially now during the COVID era. So I wake up every morning. I am thankful to have breath in my lungs, to be alive another day. And then I think to myself, what can I do today that will bring me joy, that will make me proud, that will make me happy? And I've been doing this for about half my life now, say 2 decades, and it's helped me so much in every aspect of my life, because not only does it keep me Does it help me do good things for my friends, for my family, for the community, for everything? Can I develop a sense of pride, and it makes me want to keep going and keep doing what I'm doing, and it makes me want to keep living. So it's gotten to the point where I don't feel alive if I sitting around the house not doing anything. I call it wasting my time, even though I know we all deserve a break sometimes.
Exactly.
But I feel like I'm wasting my time if I'm not out there doing something for the community or doing something that makes me proud or something that makes me happy. So long story short, you can do this. You can do this.
Yeah.
Something very easy that everyone can do. Just when you wake up, think of one easy thing that you can do to make yourself happy. It could be going out with a friend to lunch.
Exactly.
It could be going for a bike ride. It could be going for a walk.
Or you can even doing volunteer work as well. Always is another way you can actually help out too.
Yeah, Jason, what are some of the things that you do that make you happy?
Well, first of all, like Flame said, I do have to hang out with the friends. I do hang out with Flame a lot, so we both try to keep each other company. You know, we do go exploring, things like that. Try to, you know, do something more productive or something.
Yeah.
And you know, I try not to let my depressions, because I do get depressions and things like that. So I try not to let them like control me.
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
When did you start experiencing depression? Or actually, before we even do that, you wanna? Ricky was nice enough to make some notes for us regarding depression, some fun facts. Well, I don't know if I call them fun because depression is never fun.
It's never fun.
Yeah, would you like to read out some facts
Okay.
for us? We can talk about that.
All right, so depression and mental says anxiety and depression disorders are closely related. Nearly 50% of those diagnosed with depression are also diagnosed with an anxiety disorder, which
we talked
pretty
about,
much- I
and
did
that
that
was your
too.
experience too. Yeah.
and other factors. Depression is the leading cause of disability in the United States among people between ages of 15 and 44.
I did not know that.
That's an
Wow,
interesting thing.
that's huge.
Yes.
That's large.
And one more, if you want to put, depression is a major contributor to the overall global burden of disease. So I guess it's like something like a disease. I would never really thought. I never really think of it as like a disease. I would say it's more of a, you know,
Some
kind
people
of
are clinically diagnosed with depression. It could be an imbalance of chemicals in the brain, lack of serotonin, etc.
right.
Which is why depression medication exists.
You know,
it's a clinical issue, but it can also be so psychological. I was diagnosed with clinical depression, but I also knew that my depression wasn't something that could be cured with pills. Because I was diagnosed with depression very early on, from 13 onwards, so my entire teens, I was force-fed antidepressant medication. And I knew that the problem wasn't solely me, because I feel like you could take the happiest person in the world, and if they were experiencing the things that I was experiencing, they'd probably be depressed too. So yeah, I really didn't like the idea of medication for that. I didn't like the side effects that it was giving me, and I felt like I wasn't like I was bearing the burden of my depression when I knew that it wasn't just coming from within. It was circumstantial and the things that were happening to me, which is why then I had to learn to make the best of whatever really crappy situation I was in. My anxiety was probably the worst around age 13 to 16. I started coloring my hair different colors. I started getting piercings. I got my first tattoo at 15. And amongst my peers, I really stuck out a lot. And even just strangers on the street, this was back in the 90s before any of this was common. You know, now it's very fashionable. But back in that era, you know, people would throw rocks and bottles at me and spit on me. People would pee on me on the street. I know, it's gross. I mean, some people are into that. I don't want to yuck anyone's yum.
No, I know. It wasn't meant as a.
But yeah, all these terrible things were happening to me, and I had to learn to really try to take any situation and try to look at the bright side. And I started thinking, well, these people are just jealous that they can't live their lives as freely as I can. I can be myself, and they can't. You know, and I started trying to elevate myself in a way. And sooner or later, I started walking down the street with a sense of pride, with my head held up, making eye contact with everyone. And the moment that I started doing that, people almost immediately stopped messing with me. Whereas before, when I would walk down with my headphones on to block out the entire world so I wouldn't hear the negative comments, I would walk with my sunglasses or looking down, very shy, very timid, so I wouldn't have to see people that were attacking me. All that literally changed overnight the moment that I started making eye contact.
Right.
And then I felt like maybe the world, people around me realized that I wasn't so easily targeted. I couldn't so easily be a victim. And I was very ready to defend myself, whether with words or with action. That was one of the things that I started doing to combat my depression and anxiety. Because before that, I didn't even want to leave the house because the bullying got so bad. I would stay home for weeks or months at a time. I dropped out of school. I didn't want to be around people. What was your experience with depression like this?
Actually,
when did it start?
Okay, well, we can start probably around the time, like I would say around the 90s when I was very young. I was diagnosed with a learning disability. And I would say that was part of the anxiety because people would kind of, I was always a nice, let me start with like, I was always like a really nice guy. Still am nice, still am.
Still is.
But I think people used to pick up as like an easy target. So they would look at me and be like, okay, because I was never a person to kind of fight back. And I guess it could be either a blessing or a curse. I guess it depends on how you look at it. Because some people say, why don't you fight back? But also because of my learning disability, I was kind of slow on certain things. So people kind of saw that because I have like more of an attention deficit. So it's really hard for me to kind of like focus on certain things. So concentration, I still have it. I'm not going to say it's completely gone. But it was, I think people picked up on that, or the kids at that time. And, back then,
kids pick up on anything that's seen as different.
Exactly. Anything that's like that. So it might not have been the same. I never was stoned, but I was beaten up. I was bullied and really got me to a depression. I mean, there was even one time I almost thought about actually killing myself at some point. At one point, my parents, I love my parents. They've been there for the whole time. So they didn't really like, I say, they were there for me to comfort me and things like that. And also plus, a little bit of fact, being an only child too, so I didn't have any brothers and sisters. I got that I get this loneliness, like why me? Why is this happening? That sort of thing. So, it was something that happened years ago, and I remember how they used to handle it during the school, because when I used to get bullied, the schools used to have this idea, it's like instead of telling the bullies, instead of bullying him, why don't you help him? Which really didn't actually solve the situation because it's like saying, okay, well, we don't want to deal with you, have someone else protect you. But that doesn't quite really, that doesn't really help. It was their kind of policy at the time. And this was like during the 80s and 90s. I guess teachers really, bullying wasn't really as much bigger, I would say, because now with adult cyberbullying and things like that, it's probably more recognized. Back then, it was kind of recognized, but it was kind of like put to the side, put on the table, or come up something else.
Put under the table.
And I know you have actually had many experiences with
I brought this up on Flame Time Live a few times, and I will always bring this up because what they did was horrible to me. When I say they, I mean the school system, the teachers, the faculty, the guidance counselors. I remember being 13 years old, I would go and ask for help to the guidance counselor because I felt that's what they were there for, guidance. And the guidance counselor said to me, well, maybe if you didn't dress so differently, maybe if you didn't color your hair, maybe if you didn't have a nose ring or earrings, maybe if you tried to fit in, then the kids wouldn't have a reason to pick on you. Basically placing all the blame on me. It was my fault that the kids would pick on me.
Exactly.
It was my fault I was being bullied, and therefore it was my fault I was going through depression because it was all me. I had situations where I was riding the school bus, and these all are factors that contributed to me later on dropping out of 7th grade. You imagine 7th grade dropping out, terrible. But yeah, I had the bus driver actually pull the bus over and scold me and kick me off the bus. Why? Because the other kids were picking on me and bullying me and hitting me, but I was the distraction because I was the target.
Even though they were doing the wrong thing, that you kicked you out of.
Well, because without me on the bus, those kids wouldn't have someone to pick on so easily, so the bus driver could concentrate on driving the bus. So then I would have to walk to school and walk home from school in a really tough neighborhood where, people would throw stuff at me. And yeah, eventually I just dropped out because I was like, what's the point of going to school?
Yeah, I don't find it.
But yeah, all these are the things that, for better or worse, they contributed to me learning how to tackle depression in a way that works for me. I know it's different for everybody,
Right.
but I learned how to tackle depression in a way that works for me. Did you have a way that you learned to tackle your depression?
Well, actually, whatever was whatever suffered back then, I kind of try to push it to the side. I not try to push, but try to use that as more of a strength. Like instead of like that, it made me, I would say, stronger than I am now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I try to kind of fix myself up, try to fit in more, try to kind of understand where people's coming. Kind of like I would say grow up, but try to understand.
Sure.
Because I really was really crucial about the latest stuff, the latest ads and things like that. So I try. Yeah, I know. Everybody is.
Yeah.
But I didn't take medication. I did go for therapy. So that's how I was diagnosed.
What was the therapy?
Well, therapy was like I was getting depression, things like that.
What was the action? Like, did you go somewhere? Did they?
I went to them.
Was it a clinic? Was it a group home?
No, it was just a regular therapy one-on-one because I used to be, there was a point in time, I wouldn't want to say too about it, but let's just say it was like, I was having, there was a point where it was like,
were you wetting the bed?
No. I was like staying.
No shame if you do or if you are.
So I was staying in my parents' room because I didn't like sleeping alone by myself. Because I was like alone, because I always felt like.
You would sleep between your parents?
Well, I would sleep on the floor.
Oh, so, how old were you?
Oh my God. I must.
15?
I don't remember. I know there was a point. So they wanted to know why I was. I don't know. About
12, 13.
Probably about that.
Oh,
I don't know.
That's cute.
I don't know. But all I know is that was an issue that my parents were worrying about. So, and I think that was tribulation because I always felt like I had to have a need being here because my parents were my only people around.
Oh, that's right. You said you had no siblings.
I had no siblings.
You didn't have any friends.
I had a pet dog, which was my only comfort, but that's about it. And but I think as came on, I also had to start. I used to have this problem of people used to picking on me, and I used to take. So what I would do is I would kind of laugh at myself. I would kind of like, instead of just kind of like, getting mad at people or anything else like that, or run away. Because I used to do that a lot. When somebody used to get mad at me, I remember used to have my parents in the house in upstate New York, and have these two kids I was friends with. They would make fun of me, but I was always running away. I was like, I never really. So I just kind of self-taught myself, start laughing at it, start making fun of it. It's not putting me down, but it's kind of like saying, and if people see that you're happy,
yeah.
If they'll respect you a lot more.
So I have similarities with that. Yeah, I learned to use humor as a coping mechanism.
That's what
like you said, I feel like where I was always down and depressed and sad and crying. I feel like that would give people almost ammunition to pick on you more because they feel like they're winning. The moment I turned that around and learned to use humor as my coping mechanism, make jokes about everything, make light of everything, poke fun at myself, which
pretty much a lot of people like seeing.
Yes, it's funny. Why not? I have so many things to pick fun at myself. I'm crazy. I'm loca. I'm sassy.
Well, I'm crazy too, so that doesn't make sense.
We're talking about me right now. We can talk about your crazy.
I know. I'm only kidding, guys.
We're all a little. Come on, we're all a little crazy sometimes to some degree. Yeah, that's a wonderful coping mechanism too. Laugh. Not only is it, it's just good for your soul.
Exactly.
Laugh, smile, be happy.
Especially around this time of year where you really everybody's like, I would say, depressed when they lost their job.
A lot of people.
So I know it's really hard.
Reasons to smile and laugh.
It's really, I know for some people that's like asking for too much because you could be smiling, but the biggest, sometimes one outweighs more than the other. But you can't lose hope. And I think the other reason why I remember when you mentioned sometimes when you hit rock bottom, like they almost saying that if you hit rock bottom, there's only one way you can go, and that's straight up. So I remember your thing saying like that. So it really helps out a lot. So there's different ways of doing it.
Yeah,
what do we got?
That's right. Well, because I have the phone turned on its side, I can't read the comments. So apologies if anybody is commenting and or asking questions and engaging with us. But we have no way to see the comments. And without our producers here to help out, it's difficult to see. what's going on.
I thought that was something.
But anyway, yeah, back to the topic. We're running out of time, so I want to get to a really important thing I wanted to mention. So yeah, I was talking about the ways that I cope with depression is finding fun stuff to do, and making new friends. I'm constantly always meeting new people, making new friends, doing fun activities. And speaking of fun activities, do you know what the core group is doing this Monday on Zoom?
Oh, yes, we're going to have a game night.
Game night! Yay! I'm super excited. I
Yeah.
don't know what kind of games we're going to have. This is going to be a surprise and a
I'm
mystery.
excited.
So I'm not sure. I can tell you the last time we had a game night, it was a huge success. It was for Valentine's Day, so it was Valentine's Day themed, and we played Valentine's themed Jeopardy.
Oh,
So we talked about romance, we talked about sexual encounters, we talked about Valentine's Day candy.
Oh,
You
boy.
did
I
really
did
good
pretty
with the
good.
candy. You
No,
knew your candy pretty well, I
well,
think.
no, I don't think it was the candy. I think
No?
it was something else that we did.
Maybe it was me that made the candy.
Yeah,
I know it was Bob. Bob loves his
yeah,
candy.
exactly.
So yeah, so I don't know what the setup is going to be. I don't want to get anybody's hopes up. If it's not like that, but it was a fun Jeopardy game. I'm really excited to see whatever surprise JC and Ricky have in store for us for this Monday's Zoom meetup. So if you want to join us for the Zoom meetup, the group is intended for gay men 18 to 29, but we do not discriminate. Everybody is welcome, any age group, any gender, cis, trans,
Even outside the city.
everybody.
Yeah.
And yeah, even outside, if you don't live in, it's meant also for people within the Queens region, but even if you don't live in Queens and you just want to come join, have a good time, maybe you know somebody that fits the age group, that fits the demographic, that could benefit from this. Maybe you want to peek your head in and see what it's like so you can refer your friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, come join us. It's free to join.
It's well worth it. I'll tell you that right
so
now.
worth it. So please drop your email here. If you don't want to put it in a public setting, you can message MP Queens or MP Queens 19 on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and let them know that you want to be added to the guest list. And hopefully, we will see you next Monday,
6:30.
6:30 p.m. on Zoom for the game night, which I'm really excited about. And yeah, thank you for tuning in, everybody. And I hope to see you next episode of Flame Time next Thursday, 1 p.m. See you then.
Bye.
Bye.
Stop this thing.
I don't know. Hey, everybody, technical difficulties. I don't know how to stop recording this. Might have to bring this directly to Ricky to do.
Take it out or something like that?
Honey, I don't know. I've never used
We're
it.
trying this here,
We
folks.
can just keep recording live. You want to have your own show here?
No,
Start
not
talking.
our own show. No. Do a show.
See, it's our show, honey. We're in it. We're in this together.
Yeah.
We're in it to win it. Sharon is Karen.
Right.
Oh my God, I haven't had a tablet in so long. Here, I'll let you figure this out.
Pause it up to it.